with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure four. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back, in fact this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor. Oh,
shit. Yo, what up, friends? Welcome to another edition of the Professor's Semanalmente Sports and Entertainment Edition. We appreciate you tuning in as always. I am your host, Omar, the Professor Fonseca, and I am so happy you have joined us today. Please make sure you are subscribed at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. There's a handy QR code up at the top for you if you want to find our YouTube, our Instagram, and so much more of our social media, and all of it is there for you at the link tree. Also, hit that like button, please. Give me a laugh, give me a like, give me a heart, whatever it is. Hit me with it. It helps us in the algorithm. It's free to you, but invaluable to us. And we are live on the airways. We here on the YouTube webs, on the Facebook webs. And if I could get this going on Instagram for some reason, which it doesn't want to be going on the IG right now, we'll coming back to figure that out in just a second. Don't know why that's not doing it, but hey, we welcome you in. Yes, we are going to do sports and entertainment today. We have a special guest coming to join us for sports later. He is host of the Rec Room. He goes by the Lion Reese Penn, and he will be joining us later, my brother. He's actually getting logged in now, so we'll bring him in for the sports portion of this show. But you know what I really like to do? We like to do entertainment and sports here on this show, and so we were going to start with the pop culture entertainment today. But first, we do have something more important to talk about first before we go into any of that. And I don't know why this Instagram is not working for me for the life of me. The Facebook and the YouTube are working just fine, so not sure. But anyways, all right. So anyways, if you hold on. Okay. Yep. We're just going to let it go. Not even sure. All right. Anyways, thank y'all for joining in again. So tomorrow represents an important day in our nation. It is Juneteenth. And so Juneteenth is actually celebrated as Freedom Day, the day that the enslaved African Americans gained their emancipation finally, right? Even though it had been enacted much earlier. The Emancipation Proclamation, which was signed by Abraham Lincoln, had been signed earlier. This wasn't until June 1865 when Texas finally freed all of their slaves, and when 2,000 Union troops arrived back in Galveston Bay, Texas, the Army announced that more than 250,000 enslaved African Americans were free on that day, so it came to be known as Juneteenth, long celebrated in the African American community, a second Independence Day, if you will. Freedom's Eve was what all started this back in January 1st, 1863. So obviously, long time coming, well deserved to finally be a holiday. Not sure why that took, well, I know why, but it's sad that it took that long to be recognized as a holiday. And if you do not believe that it should be a federal holiday, then you're probably watching the wrong program. Because not only should it be a federal holiday, we should definitely be celebrating the achievements, yes, but just the lives and the struggles of our African American brothers and sisters that put up with so much to help build this country off of their backs. They didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. The least we can do is give them a month and a holiday to celebrate them. So all my black brothers and sisters, I love you. You know that. And so, yeah, we need to celebrate that. Juneteenth, definitely a good day to celebrate and celebrate the freedom that, we all are free in this country to an extent. But some are still less free than others, as we've seen throughout this past week as well, which we'll get it. We'll mention briefly in my Dodgers story a little later. Why isn't this? Thank you to my producer with the good sound. There it is. Cool. All right. Well, moving into the entertainment pop culture world, we want to get a couple. My guest is saying there's an issue. Let me throw him a new link. Let's see what's popping here. Anyways, so unfortunately, we had a couple deaths recently in the entertainment world. So we want to give a rest in peace to two huge entertainers in the music world. RIP to Sly Stone and to Brian Williams. So Brian Wilson, excuse me, Williams. Brian Wilson. Brian Williams is still alive and well, hosting a news program somewhere. I do enjoy his news, but he is still alive and well. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, rather, also passed away. So these are two legends in the music game. And so if you are an old school music fan, you will readily know these names. Younger cats, y'all young kids may not know these different these two different people. But let me hip y'all to some game here. Sly Stone was the revolutionary musician from Sly and the Family Stone, transforming music in the 60s and 70s. He had a short run. It wasn't a very long run due to addiction and other mental health issues and things like that he was dealing with. But amazing music came from this man, born Sylvester Stewart, passed away at 82. Everyday People was probably the most famous song that most people know. Stand, Family Affair, right? All real good music produced from Sly and the Family Stone. Again, after they broke up, when he had his issues, he went on to release more solo music, but never really reclaimed the spot that he had when Sly and the Family Stone were at the top there at the end of the 60s, 66, 67. That Woodstock era when came from through the civil rights movement, which we just talked about, Juneteenth, so that's apropos, moving from the civil rights movement into the hippie movement, if that's what you want to call it, the love, peace movement, which is about the time that they were around, and they captured that zeitgeist. What an amazing word for a Puerto Rican on a live TV show. They captured that zeitgeist quite nicely. So rest in peace to him. Dance to the Music, a whole new thing, a lot of other good music as well. And then the Beach Boys co-founder and singer Brian Wilson also died at the age of 82. Brian Wilson was the creative force behind the group, the Beach Boys, in the 60s, which was at that time in America the most popular rock group in America. When it was in America was the Beach Boys, and then later on, a little bit later on a few years later, not too much later, UK, right? They had, all right, we need to stop this guy right now. We ain't doing this with you no more today. You got to work with me. Anyways, so I don't know what that was happening there. I don't know why he went that way. But anyways, so the Beach Boys were very popular in American rock. They formed in Hawthorne, California. Okay, this guy is upsetting me right now. There we go. Thank you. I've really got to figure out the settings on that thing. Anyways, they formed in Hawthorne, California. The band included his younger brothers, Dennis and Carl. Also, cousin Mike Love and friend Al Jardine. Hits like Surfing USA, which is probably the most popular. Also, I Get Around, Don't Worry Baby. California Girls actually may have been the most popular now that I think about it. Their orchestral album in 1966, Pet Sounds, was considered by many to be the first ever concept album in rock and roll. And if you know me, I'm a huge fan of concept albums. And so, I just think that they're very beautiful when they're created in that way. So I enjoy Pet Sounds. I actually went back and listened to it yesterday again. It's not for everybody, but back in the day it was, especially with all the instruments and things, very good music, still good music, but very different than today's music. Paul McCartney actually called God Only Knows the greatest pop song ever written. Now, a lot of people knows that one. That's a really good one. Wouldn't It Be Nice? Another one would. I can't sing that. I don't want to get sued. The group Beach Boys was Billboard Top 40 list 36 times in 36 years. Wow. But Brian Wilson, also similar to Sly Stone, dealt with drug addictions. Brian Wilson also dealt with the schizoaffective disorder. So obviously that caused both of their careers to suffer, but amazing musicians, may they rest in peace. We actually got my brother in. Does he have his channels hooked up? I'm wondering. He can hook his channels up if he'd like to. He can just go over to the paired channels. He can hook his YouTube and his Facebook. Yeah, I'm talking to him we're talking through the fourth wall right now. If you want to hook up your channels, go ahead. If not, let me know on Facebook what you want to do. I can bring you in whenever. So a couple notes here. TV viewership via streaming tops combined broadcast and cable viewing for the first time ever, with 44.8% of TV consumed via streaming. The popularity of streaming is gone global. Everybody streams. I stream most of mine. I cut cable a long time ago, so I don't use cable. I sometimes watch broadcast TV, but it would be through an app on a stream. So streaming is where we are headed, and now is the most way to view TV, with 45% of TV being viewed streaming. And especially with YouTube TV and other stuff coming up, it's not going to go away anytime soon. Yeah, just let me know on Facebook, bro, whenever you're ready. All right. A couple notes here before we bring him in. R. Kelly suffered a near fatal overdose in prison. He alleges he was given too much medication by the prison staff. He is serving a 30-year sentence on sex trafficking charges. I think I mentioned one time that he got pardoned by Donald Trump on a show, or that he was about to be. That obviously didn't happen. So that was allegedly. The doctor in the other news, doctor in the Matthew Perry's death case to plead guilty to providing Perry with ketamine in the months leading up to the actor's overdose death. So we will keep you updated on that case as well. And finally, another note here from a story we talked about before. I wanted to update you. 23andMe, we talked about that DNA system. Co-founder and former CEO Ann Wojcicki, sorry, madam, outbid Regeneron. So we said Regeneron was going to buy out 23andMe. Turned out the CEO got funding from her nonprofit TTAM Research Institute, and they bought 23andMe for $305 million, outbidding Regeneron. Wow, what a turnaround. Still go delete your data, as I told you about. If you don't delete your data, you are being very, very stupid. All right, that being said, we are going to move it into a little bit of Sean Diddy Combs, and then we're going to get into the sports. And so on that note, I would like to bring in my special guest for today. He is host of the Rec Room, my brother, a Boricua as well. He goes by Lion Reese Penn. What's good? What's good?
¿Qué pasa, papi? What's good, Joe?
Wepa.
Yo, man, I couldn't figure out all that, putting the channel and all that. I told you I'm not a computer dude, so I'm still working on that, man.
No, you good. I just wanted you to be able to have some content to go to your channel. So if you can figure it out, it's right up at the top on your right-hand side. You see where those pictures are up top? That look like channels. If you click there, it'll ask you to connect to YouTube. You can do that if you want. It gets rid of the connection afterwards. And that'll put some content there.
It might be because I'm on my phone, not on my laptop. Maybe I should have been on my laptop.
Maybe. All good. Either way, if you can't, it don't matter. Hey, I'm so happy you are here with me, my brother. We definitely got to get together and get you up to date with some of that computer stuff, get that profile up to date, things like that. But welcome to the streaming game. Tell them who you are. Tell them where they can find you.
Les, man, like you said, the Lion Reese Penn recently moved here to Tennessee, man. I'm on the Rec Room on YouTube. I think I'm under my regular name on Facebook, other than the Lion in the middle or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm all over. It's always the Rec Room 19 or Lion 19. It's just basically everything.
Yeah, so definitely go subscribe, tap in at the Rec Room on YouTube for my brother. Definitely support that channel. So you just got started recently
Five
streaming.
episodes in. 5 episodes in.
All right, tell everybody how you've been feeling so far, with aside from the computer illiteracy issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never been a tech dude, and that's why I've kind of always hesitated to kind of do this. I've always been a pen to paper typewriter kind of guy. I like writing, I like debating, I like all that kind of stuff. But this is the wave these days, man. This is just where the generation is gone now. Everything's done online, so I definitely got to improve myself on this. But it's a work in process, man.
Hey, it's always a work in progress. It took me a while to learn all the stuff. I just had to keep going live all the time and keep just recording and keep editing, and eventually I figured it all out. So
It looks good, man. I like the camera you use, and I like the studio here. I'm just in my room right now. I do have a studio for the podcast, as you know, but I'm just chilling in the room getting ready for this finals game. But your shit looks good, man.
Yeah, I see you couldn't even go sit in the nice studio for me. I appreciate you looking out for the team.
Bro, I told you I really need to see this game. I'm a sports podcast guy, so I have to watch all.
You act like I don't want to watch the game either. Like I'm inconveniencing you from watching the game.
I mean, you're talking Beach Boys and stuff right now, so I'm like,
that's why I did that before you came in. I
was like, I know a couple songs, but
Yeah.
the most I know about the Beach Boys was Chris Rock shouting them out in Rush Hour, man, or Jackie Chan. Sorry.
There you go. So yeah, but the only part really I wanted to bring you on for the entertainment part was the Diddy trial. So I've been talking about the Diddy trial every week on this show, and so I just want to get your thoughts from everything you've heard.
Bro, it's crazy because, as you know, being in my late 30s or whatever, like I was around for the whole Diddy rise. You know what I'm saying? I was there when he was dancing around the back of Big's videos and all that. You know what I'm saying? Wearing the glitter and all that shit and them crazy Mace songs. So I saw it all, and it's crazy to think that this was all going on behind the scenes, man. That all this kind of stuff was going on. Fame is a crazy thing, bro. You see what it does to a lot of people. You see what happens in Hollywood and all those kind of places, bro. I mean, the devil has his hands in a lot of that, it seems, but it's a sad thing. I saw today they released some of the videos on them freak offs, and I heard the jurors were sick. They had to postpone the whole thing. I can't even imagine what kind of stuff they saw, man.
Yeah, I can't either, and I don't even want to think about that. But
like I heard you talking R. Kelly too, and let me tell you something. I was in Chicago a little while of my life, a couple years, and man, Kels was my man, bro. That was another one that was just sad, bro. Like when I tell you, Kels was always the vibe when I was young, bro. I can't tell you how many chicks were over here with Kels playing in the background. You know what I mean? But that was another one, man. It hurts to see some of these legends just go down these paths, man.
So I have a good question that I need to ask you that I've been positing to people lately. Because I was in the club the other day and Kanye came on, and I was very conflicted as to whether I should be dancing or not. And I talked to the bartender serving us. I was like, what are you gonna? Are you? And she was like, damn, I didn't even think about it. I was just not even listening. I was like, well, I don't know what to do right now. How do you feel about dancing and or singing to a Kanye and R. Kelly, something like that?
Man, it's tough, man, because obviously early on, I thought Kanye was the greatest producer that I had heard when he dropped.
Pretty good.
When he came out with that stuff, I thought if he touched it, it was just craziness,
Gold.
Man. And considering what he overcame and all that with the accident and stuff like that.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I rooted for the man, and at the same time, I almost want to give him a pass, because let me tell you something. There's something wrong with that Kardashian, vagina, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you can say on air, so I'm gonna just,
that was good. That was good.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Just think about it. Everybody who messes with those chicks goes through some stuff, man. Lamar Odom OD'd on crack. You know what I'm saying? This dude Kanye lost his damn mind. I don't know what he's doing now with the black KKK stuff and all this weird shit that happened to him. And something's wrong with those. It proves to men out there, man. You got to be selective on women, bro. Don't just go out here and try to get every fine chick you can see. Some of them can really fuck you. Oh my God, my bad.
No, you good. You good. Some
of them can really mess you up, man. It's a true thing, and you see it with Kanye, man. It's sad because, damn, he was something special when he first dropped.
His music, his first two albums were definitely classics, and it is sad to see what it's come to. Not just him and his descent into madness, but also just the way that he controls his wife and other things like that, which are just
Bro,
like
he parades her around. She almost looks uncomfortable all the time. I feel for her. Obviously she has
yeah.
agency because at the end of the day, you can say no, baby. Like that's your prerogative, what you want to do or what you allow to be done to you
But he's
as a
all
human being.
obviously controlling her to a very far extent.
For sure. And that's why I feel for her. I wish somebody, a friend, a family member would just kind of be like, yo, don't let this man do this to you. Like he's just parading you around like some weird trophy or something like that. Or it almost seems like he's just trying to show her off to get back at Kim to be like, yo, look at how bad this chick is. She's basically on your level or above it. And I'm just like, you ain't got to prove that, bro. If you like the girl, be with the girl. If you don't, it's weird to me, but she looks uncomfortable. And I wish somebody would help her for sure because she's in some weird stuff.
She's definitely uncomfortable, and I just sparked two and two together. It's akin to probably a Diddy Cassie situation without the instead of the nudity outside, it's now the freak offs indoors. So
Here's what I'll say though. Cassie was young, man, and
that's
young
true.
women can be malleable. In fact, young people in general can be malleable. You know what I'm
True.
saying? Like
Very
it's
true.
just one of those things when you're young and you don't have the guidance or whatever, you get caught into something. We've all gone down some dark roads, you know what I mean? So,
Of course.
but this lady's in her 30s, right? I mean, she's like 31 or something like that. So I don't know. I just feel like somebody should be able to grab her and just be like, yo, this ain't it right now. Like you looking crazy out here and you're letting this man do this to you. And I don't see why. Like, what about Kanye? I mean, I guess he's got some money, but can't especially like that dude in any kind of way or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't need to do this. You see the girl's bad. She could definitely get one of these Hollywood dudes or one of these other rich people or whatever if it's for the money or whatever. She doesn't have to do this.
No, she doesn't. Definitely not for the money. But again, there's that point where your control turns into mind control, and the mind control supersedes the control that you have, the like you said, the agency, or at least the agency that you perform over yourself bodily and autonomously and mind wise and whatever else. um it's very sad to see. It's I wouldn't want to just, I mean, again, Kanye's passed off his rocker at this point. Once he started going with all the nonsense that he's been going with proves that. But it's one thing to for yourself to descend into madness and bringing other people with you that
For
don't
sure.
necessarily want to be there. So
We've definitely reached the point, like you said, defending Kanye is untenable at this point. Like, there's no, like, it's, we all know the man's lost his damn mind. I don't know what it is, bro. He got CTE or something in that car accident because something happened to that dude. Or, like I said, that Kardashian stuff. I
that's
don't know what kind of Illuminati he got into or something, but he went just mad, bro. But,
I
you know,
uh, I really do. I really do. I'm intrigued more and need to look more into the Kardashian theory. I do agree with what happened to Lamar Odom, so now I'm thinking like, damn, you might be right.
right now, here's the thing, though. Now,
Let me
here's the
stop. Let
thing,
me stop. Let me
because
stop.
I quickly want to like I was quick to say like there's something wrong with the JJ, like it turns dudes crazy, but honestly, I didn't even think it is. All them dudes had these crazy episodes pretty much at the end of the relationship, and it could be at that point she gets sick of him or she stops fucking with him, and then all of a sudden they're like they just miss it that much, or they just lose their minds because they can't have it anymore, and that's possible. I don't know, but I know if as fine as she is and as rich as I'm not messing with it if she ever came this way. I'm gonna be like, nah, I want my sanity. I'm good.
No, yeah, no. I don't care how rich you are. Get out of here. No, I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll go be Oprah Stedman. How about that? I ain't got to deal with nothing. She just give me all the money. I do all the work. Whatever.
exactly.
All right, cool. Well, let's keep it moving into what you came here for. Some sports talk. We have some things on the horizon coming up. First, we're going to talk about a little bit of NHL. So, the NHL finals were decided last evening. The Florida Panthers are your 2025 world champions. Oh, excuse me, 2024 and 2025
Again,
back to back is what they did over the same team, Edmonton Oilers, who they also beat last year. The goaltending, Bobrovsky, obviously always going to be awesome. You have the Conn Smythe Trophy for MVP of the playoffs, went to Sam Bennett, who had, what was it,
deservingly so.
13 goals or
Yeah,
15 goals, something
led the whole league in playoff goal, deservingly so. He was phenomenal in these playoffs.
crazy. Marchand, the great
Bro, don't bring that. Come
Marchand
on. You
trade.
know I'm a Boston
I
fan. Don't look at me like that,
I
bro.
know, but I'm sorry, y'all the ones that traded him. And he showed out in the playoffs,
He's so bro.
game-winning goals. Actually have a question for you. Now that you're the great person to have on for this, I was going to posit today on this program that Brad Marchand with this championship is a definite Hall of Famer now. What do you say to that?
Absolutely, yeah. No,
Okay.
for sure. 2 cups. He's a guy who scored 30 goals, a ton of seasons. I mean, look at his stature, man. At his size in that game, like you wouldn't think he'd be a superstar. And he's been an all-star in this league for a long time. He's as scrappy and tenacious as it gets in the toughest game there is to play. And I loved him when he was with us. I know a lot of people, and I love guys like him, kind of like KG was in Boston. I love guys who your team, if you have them, you love them. If you don't have them, you hate them. And I just love the hell out of guys like that, especially when they're on my team, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and again, like you said, love to hate him. Love him when he's not with you, hate him when he's not. But again, one of the best players in the league, and now he's won another championship with another squad. And again, this squad is not even the same from last year.
Bro, how crazy is it that a state that you know I'm from Florida, a state that doesn't get under 30 degrees like ever, like maybe once in the last 30 years, has dominated the Eastern Conference in hockey for basically most of the last decade, with
Yeah.
Tampa going to 3 straight, Florida going to 3 straight. Like Florida has hockey, you know, in its hand right now. It just is what it is, and I'm shocked that we're the hockey state right now.
It's going to be very good for what they're trying to do with the NHL wanting to expand and Atlanta vying to be that next team. It could help in the future with that being the case. And you're completely right. America has been dominating the Canadian teams and especially the Southeast, as you mentioned, but America in general, as a Canadian team, has now won a cup in 7 seasons, I believe it is.
No, there hasn't
No,
been a Canadian win a Stanley Cup since
17.
1993.
17. What did I say? How many years is that?
No, since '93, the Montreal Canadiens with Patrick Waugh in the net were the last
32
Canadians.
years. Okay, cool.
Yes,
32 years. There you go.
yes, that's crazy. I was barely alive, bro. I'm
Wild.
37. I almost didn't see a Canadian Cup in my entire lifetime. Now, the caveat to that is obviously all those American teams that are dominated are just they have a plethora of Canadian players. So let's not act like Canada still isn't the hockey country.
Sure.
But they haven't been able to put together to win. It's insane to me. Like I said, I was almost kind of rooting, obviously, as a Florida person and all my friends and fam all being out there. My people are out there. I love that they get to party and they get to celebrate. I know what it feels like. I've had a lot of championships for my teams, but it's just, yeah, man.
No, that's good. So no, you're good. So how did you feel about the series in general?
Listen, I thought there were no losers. I honestly thought if you're a hockey fan, you loved every minute of it. It was one of those phenomenal series. You have what's probably the best team in hockey the last few years in the Florida Panthers against the best players in the world. I think the top 2 players in the league right now are Drysdale and McDavid. And yeah, you know, and I root for McDavid a little bit because I think he has a chance to be one of the all-time greats, but he has to get a cup. At the end of the day, if you don't win, there's always going to be that little asterisk. You know what I'm saying? We just don't look at those guys who don't win in those conversations. So I hope he gets one because some of the dekes, some of the passes, some of the plays he made, he's ridiculous, man. He makes me a fan, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a Kings fan for hockey, and the Oilers have beat us the past 4 seasons in a row to knock us out of the playoffs. So I am.
Listen, y'all had some fun teams, though. I really have always liked Jonathan Quick in net, especially early on when he was doing his
Quickie.
thing.
Yeah, I miss Quick. Yeah.
Man.
No, we had some really fun teams, like you said. But as I was saying, though, so like. I want to hate Connor McDavid, but you're right. Connor McDavid is such a beautiful player when it comes to hockey. Just everything he does is so just great and fun to watch and just enjoy. It's like when they call soccer the beautiful game or boxing the sweet science. It's just a certain way, a je ne sais quoi that some athletes
I like
have.
that word. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
sir.
Now let me ask you another question, though, about those Edmonton Oilers. This is now the second time in a row that they've gone to the finals and lost, but they've also, again, been deep in the playoffs now 4 times. You mentioned needing to win the chip. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago when I was talking about hockey, about the three main things you really need is an elite offensive man. The momentum on your side is really important in playoffs and sports. And then in hockey is goaltending, which is the most important.
For sure. At the end of the day, most of the time, the team that wins is the team that has the hottest goalie in the playoffs. We've seen it time and time again. A great goalie is like a great pitcher in baseball. If you have that guy who can shut an offense down, it just changes, and he can basically carry the team himself.
Yep.
I've seen Patrick Waugh do it. I've seen Dominic Hasek do it. I've just watched Bobrovsky do it these last couple. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, goalie is just such an important position in hockey, and that's where they need to go. I mean, to switch goalies in the middle of the series the way they did, obviously they have a question mark there.
Dude, you can't be going back and forth in the middle of a Stanley Cup with your goalies. I'm sorry. That's unacceptable.
Exactly.
Unacceptable. And that was their downfall.
When we won the Cup in 11, Thomas was phenomenal, and we had what's his name, Tuca at the backup. I mean, we had 2 1s. Like, basically, you could start either one of those guys, and both of them had over a 992 save percentage. They were both doing their thing. So, like I said, goalie's just so important, man. They definitely have to answer that.
Nope, you're completely right. And yep, that's you need a good goaltender in hockey. Now, what about the hockey? We're going to go into before we get into the NBA. What about the best goalie in the league, Connor Hellebuck? Shout out. He won both the Hart Trophy for the MVP of the league and the Vezina Trophy for the top goalie in the league. The sixth player to do both in the same season. He had a 49.48 goals saved above expected, which is the third most since 2007. How do you feel about him?
He's phenomenal. Like I said, I mean, I watched some of the greats. The Dominic Hasek, I thought, was maybe the greatest goalie I ever saw. I mean, he basically made the butterfly so like, I mean, he basically, every goalie went butterfly after him. You know what I'm saying? He played on his head for years. I loved watching him. Yes. Patrick Waugh was actually my favorite goalie because he was just so tough. I love a goalie that'll go out there and fight, that'll poke guys. That he just doesn't. He's there for his team. But no, like you said, this guy's having he had an incredible season. He's having an incredible run. And I mean, again, if you have a goalie, you have a chance, period.
Yeah, yep, there you go. Have to have that goalie. Okay, and then compared to, I just want to get your thoughts on this because they had a great Four Nations face-off earlier, which brought a lot of ratings, but the viewership, especially in the U.S., not in Canada, but the U.S. viewership averaged around 2.5 million throughout the series, which was down it was 28% from a year ago. How do you feel about those ratings going down in the NHL?
I think sometimes what happens is that the same teams go and you almost kind of lose interest in it. I think we do need a little new blood. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to see the same series again next year. It was a phenomenal series. I thought we saw 2 really good teams going at it, and I love to see great hockey. But I think sometimes when teams continue to repeat, you remember back in basketball when like Golden State and Cleveland were basically just a lock to go to the final.
Yep.
It kind of got old. Like, don't get me wrong, both great teams with a lot of great players, but you're just like, all right, we need to see someone else playing for this thing, man. So I think that definitely played a part.
And I know I hurt your heart a little earlier with Brad Marchand, and I don't mean to keep doing it. I promise you. I love the Celtics. The Oilers became the first team to lose in a final in consecutive years since who? Your Boston Bruins back in 1977, 1978.
Listen, and that's why 2011 that I brought up earlier was so big for me. I'm telling you, I was in a bar. They had to put the wet floor signs. I broke so many bottles of champagne. I mean, I went ballistic. I played Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa on the jukebox on repeat at least 50 times. I'm surprised they didn't throw my ass out of there.
That's hilarious.
It was huge, like you said. I mean, we waited a while for that thing, man. And that's why I'm really happy for my Florida fan, man. I know how much fun it is to celebrate those championships. It really is.
There you go. All right, well, before we move it into the NBA, one more shout-out, Cal McCarr, who won his second Norris Trophy, recognizes the top defensive men in the league. So shout-out to him as well. All right, let's keep it moving to NBA Finals tonight. We've got a Game 6 here with our Oklahoma City Thunder having the home court advantage. They will be playing the game there in Oklahoma City tonight. Wait, nope, that's wrong. Excuse me. Flip that around. They'll be playing, right? They're
Indiana.
playing Indiana tonight. Right.
Indiana.
It's game
Yeah,
6.
Indiana. Yep.
Excuse me. Flip that around. They're playing in Indiana tonight. Halliburton is hurt. He had to get an MRI. He only had 4 points last game. On the other hand, you had SGA. He had 30. Jalen Williams went off for 40. So you've got the Finals MVP in SGA, who has been great all season long. You've got the best defense in the league, hands down. You've got the whole squad there on defense. You got Jalen Williams. Halliburton's hurt. You still got Siakam. You still got Miles Turner's playing and shooting the ball really well from 3 now. You got TJ McConnell starting to heat up a little bit there in the series. How have you seen the series thus far? Who do you have tonight, and who do you have winning the series?
Again, man, it's been a really fun series, and it's funny you brought up numbers as far as the NHL. But I don't know if you knew that Game 1 of the NBA Finals only had 8 million viewers, and that's the lowest it's
That's
been since.
horrible. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it's the lowest it's been since the 90s, and I don't understand it. I understand that small markets sometimes don't entice as many people, but
That's
I think
definitely a part of it.
that's the layman because we're seeing great ball, man. I mean, both
Sure.
these
They've been
teams.
good.
How do you not like what you're seeing? I mean, Indiana's is they don't have a max player. They don't have any superstars. They're a team that plays together. You brought up a lot of great names. TJ McConnell. How do you not love that guy, man? He looks like a fan ran on the court with a jersey on. Just a regular old white dude who just man, like all the balls in the world, man.
That's
This guy,
great.
yeah, this guy goes 100 miles per hour all game. There is no let up in him. He plays as hard as anyone, man. And you can see that they love him. He gets bigger ovations than anyone else on that team. Obviously Tyrese Halliburton it's weird for me with him because you have games where you're like, oh, this guy's about to become a superstar. Like, obviously, he built his legend in these playoffs. He had
Right.
4 different game winners versus 4 different teams. He's hitting buzzer beaters. But then he just disappears, like you said, in some games. He'll go 0 for
Disappears.
7
Yeah,
from
he
the
just
field.
stops
Yeah,
shooting the ball. Like you're
right.
not the main shooter on the team or something.
Right. At the same time, though, that offense just isn't the same without him. They just go faster when he's on the court. They all seem more confident. He gets guys involved. I honestly think he's up for a big game tonight. It's in Indiana. Everyone knows role players play better at home, so I expect all their role guys to have good games. Siakam's been fantastic. He hasn't let up at all. He's been really good in this series. I think Hallie's going to he does have the calf injury. Now, that's going to be questionable. I know he's questionable, but trust me, unless this guy can't stand up, he's going to play tonight. Now, the question is, how much will he labor? How good will he be? But I expect a really good Halliburton tonight, and I think they have a chance to win. They're definitely going to keep it close. It's going to be a dogfight to the end. SGA on the other side, listen, you mentioned how great he's been. He just surpassed Michael Jordan and LeBron James for the most 35-5 games in a playoff run. Anytime you're in the same breath as those kind of names, it's historical, man. You can't say enough about that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right. And actually, you're right, but we're both wrong. And I have double checked to check this, but we're both wrong, which means I get to keep you a little longer tonight. Bobby G, my bro, coming through. Game is tomorrow night, bro. Y'all are too excited. And we really
Really?
are. It is tomorrow night. I just checked. I thought it was tonight too. I really did.
That's
I was so excited. I thought it was tonight. It's not.
I
It's
did
tomorrow.
too. That's crazy.
So
All right.
we stand corrected. No game tonight. No game tonight, y'all.
I mean, my girl's gonna be happy about that. She gets off at 8. I told her to come through, but I was like, we got to watch this game. I'm sorry. So she's gonna be ecstatic now. It's probably gonna make me take her out, but it is what it is.
That's tremendous. All right, cool. Well, hey, got you a little longer in here, but yeah, no. So game tomorrow, y'all. Check that out. Thank you, Bobby G. By the way, perfect time for you to come in, y'all. Check out Bobby G coming through with me next week. I'm gonna have our NBA season review roundtable. I will have Man Down Sports, Mel. I will have Jay from Unfair Sports, and as well Bobby G from the Audible Podcast. The 4 of us will get that roundtable going through for a whole season review with you on the NBA track. So check out Bobby G, and y'all tap in with the Audible Podcast Friday nights with Bobby G and my other man Wildcard Mar, my brother. Love that dude. All right. Thank you, Bobby G. Appreciate you. So but we're getting in our NBA talk right now. You get to hear what the Rec Room, Lion Reese Penn got to say. Make sure you'll tap in at the Rec Room on YouTube. So you mentioned SGA. He is still the heavy favorites as the Finals MVP for good reason. He's averaging 32.5 points, 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 steals, 2 blocks on 47.5 shooting. The man is something very, very incredible, even if a lot of people want to hate. And look, He does push off, as Bobby G so astutely pointed out with Wild Card Mar last week on the Late Night Owl. He uses his hand. Mel pointed this out as well, man down, using of the hand, not extending the hand, but using the wrist, the forearm to push off, create a little space for that crucial mid game.
Was Jordan a push off against the Jazz? I just got to know.
I mean, why you got? I don't see why that I don't know why that has to be brought up. I'm not a Bulls fan. I don't care. But yes, it was a push off. Of course, it was a damn push off.
Man, you know, guys push a little bit. It's part of it, bro. And football receivers and corners do a little. It just is what it is. It's all.
No, he does. He does do it a lot, though. He does it like
no, for sure. Here's the thing, though. I just don't like listen, I'm not a huge fan of SGA. I obviously respect his game and this and that. I just don't like the super hate when people make it seem like this guy just goes to the line. Listen, there have been guys who went to the line a lot more in seasons, including guys that we all rooted for. Kobe Bryant.
James
you know what
Harden.
I'm saying? Yeah, James Harden, I was not a fan of his because I definitely thought he just went.
I'm just saying he went to the line a lot. That's all I meant.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan.
Sure. No, for sure. Went to the line too. But like I said, those guys in those seasons averaged 10, 11, 12. Hell, even Shaq 1 year averaged 11. He only averaged 8 free throws a game. It wasn't like, oh my God, he's just at the line all day. But I get it. You're not paying good money to watch guys shoot free throws. Any one of us can hit 80% from free throw line right now. So it's not that special to see.
Well, you may be able to shoot 80%. I was more of a defender, rebounder, Gary Payton, Dennis Rodman sort of player back in my day. My jump shot was only wet really from 3, so my mid-range was kind of whack, so I can't say that I had much.
I'm a shooter, and I just don't understand not being good at free throws. These guys are professionals. We've seen a guy in a building in a tuxedo.
That's true.
Remember that lawyer who went and hit like 100 straight free throws, and he wasn't a basketball player at all. This guy was in court every day, shot free throws in his free time, and still, the free throws are a technique. There's no defense. There's no anything. You master the technique, you should be able to knock them down. And at the end of the day, if you're putting in the work, how are you not mastering this technique? I don't get it. There's no excuse for guards to shoot under 80. There's no excuse for big men to shoot under 70, period.
I mean, I agree. The only time I would let that fly is maybe like a Shaq, who it just kind of makes sense.
Hey, he hit them when they mattered.
Right. All right, cool. Well, on to more NBA news. Memphis Grizzlies.
Desmond Bain.
Shocking everybody for one reason only, that they freaking traded 4 first-round picks. Don't get me wrong. Desmond Bain, I shouldn't have said that. As a journalist, I should have started off more neutral there before I gave my opinion. Desmond Bain is a budding young star. He is 26 years old. He has not even reached his prime, averaging 17 and a half, like 6.5 rebounds. So he is a player.
And he's going to a really good young Orlando team.
Yes, and he's the piece that they need in Orlando.
A team on the rise. So I really like that move for them.
That being said, and I'm going to ask you a question in a second, because first of all, let me phrase it this way, and then I'll put it to you. First of all, trading for trading 4 first-round picks. First of all, hamstrings your team to be stuck with this core 4 that you now have with Banchero, Wagner. What's the other guy's name? Cole Anthony. Not Cole Anthony. He used to play there. What's the guy's name I'm thinking of? Hit me.
There's Pope. Is he still there? Or did he just
he just got traded.
That's what
I'm blanking on the other guy's name. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But they'll have the core 4. Maybe Bobby G can help us out. They'll have the core 4, but you have no more first round picks. And does that core 4 even guarantee you that you're going to win a championship? Because you would have to now that you would have no first round picks. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think the Knicks are finding out how much that hurts. They did the same thing for Mikal Bridges, and obviously they didn't get where they wanted to go. And now, where can they really go from here? That team's good, but can it get better? So it is tough when you're trading that kind of stuff. You better really believe in this 4. The one good thing is that they're young, man. They're super young. It's not like they're a core 4 that are already in their prime of their careers. I think they're a core 4 that continue to raise that ceiling a little better. So there's no telling where the limit is for this team, and they could be special.
They could be. Shout out to Bobby G. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Yes, Jalen Suggs. They traded away obviously KCP, who we just mentioned, Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony, who we just mentioned, and the 4 first-round picks and 1 pick swap. That's a lot. I agree with you that they're going to have the good young core with those 4. But to me, and I agree with Mar, who said this on his program as well, and I said it on my program last week, or I said it on his program earlier in the week. It just doesn't, in my eyes, make you a championship team. And you have to be a championship team if you're going to hamstring yourself like that in this luxury tax era. Now you have this first apron, the second apron. As a Celtics fan, I know, because we are, as you know as well, because we're way over the second apron, that now we're probably going to have to trade both Holiday and Porzingis, if not just one of them. So when you have this sort of confluence of contracts at one time, because all 4 of them are going to get big contracts. Banchero already got his max deal, I believe. The other 3 will get their money if they haven't already. I don't know when their contracts, I don't know any of the contract details, but the point is the 4 of them are going to earn a lot of money. I mean, I just think it doesn't raise them to a championship team. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, none of those guys were all NBA, so it's not like they're getting max deals. They're going to get paid, but they're not getting super max deals because you know how the NBA has this whole like system where they just pay all the guys the same. Your first team NBA, you get this much. You're this, you get this much. So that does help them a little bit. I don't think they have to give max deals to these guys, but also, I mean, sometimes I hesitate on saying whether it's a championship team or not because did anyone have Indiana as a championship team the way they're assembled?
That's a
And
great
yet,
point. That is a
and yet
great
here
point.
they are. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They're there this year. They have a chance to push this thing to 7. So it's hard to tell. You know, I mean, these teams make a lot of money to make these kind of decisions. Obviously, he's betting a lot. You ain't lying about that. When you give up that kind of system or that kind of stock for a guy, it better pay off.
It better, it better. And I mean, I would even understand if it was a Giannis or somebody like that. But and look, I like Desmond Bain again. I'm not trying to hate, but you're completely right. You never know. I mean, look, you have an injury that happens to the Celtics, or like last year, even some people said we had an easy road because of injuries and other things that happen. So you never know what may happen by the time you get to the playoffs with such a long season that you could actually be in the championship with a team like Orlando, which, to be completely honest, if you're putting Orlando and Indiana up right now when you add Desmond Bain, pretty similar teams in terms of talent. I mean, I'm not looking individually at each player, but
Listen, that team already was a top 2 defense in the league. They struggled to score a little bit. That was a little bit where they need to kind of try to improve. But when you can play defense, you give yourself a chance. We've already spoken about their youth. They have a chance to really grow and turn into something. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, we have to see it on the court, I think, before we can properly judge it. If he comes out and balls and fits in perfectly and it just gels, that team could be really good. I mean, remember, Banchero went down and it kind of like tailed their season. They were a top 3-4 seed in the East for a long time during the season. And then a couple injuries happened and they kind of tailed at the end there. But they get Bane, they stay healthy. I mean, they have a shot. And also, we don't know what these other teams are going to do. Like I said, I think New York probably ships Karl Anthony Towns. I hate that guy. They need to get off that guy. We don't know what's going to happen with Boston. I hear Drew's possibly being shipped. He's definitely being talked about. Jaylen Brown's being talked about. KP's probably definitely gone. You know, the injuries have just, I feel for him because he was big in that championship run, but I don't know what happened this year, man. They said he had an illness. He looked like just awful. He just looked like a different player.
Yeah, he had a respiratory illness.
Right.
I read up on the source that had in the squad, but he had a respiratory illness that just never
Like, why
recovered.
not Orlando? If Indiana could do it this year, why couldn't Orlando be that team next year?
No, that's a great point. I completely agree. Now, you did mention the Knicks. So we'll talk about them getting rid of their coach and having apparently no backup plan except to try to steal everyone else's coach in the whole world. And now that didn't work, now they're looking at unemployed coaches.
Bro, they got rejected more than me on Broadway on a Friday night. I mean, they tried to talk to every coach they possibly could, and nobody was taking their call, man. Nobody wanted to hear it.
That's great. So now they're looking to interview Taylor Jenkins or Mike Brown. Is that much better than Tom Thibodeau? What are we talking about here?
Listen, I have a soft spot for Tim. Obviously, what he did with KG and those guys in 2008, getting us the ring. It was his defense that made KG the defensive player of the year.
Very
and
true.
Took us to a
But
chip.
But we also know how much he can wear a team out.
For sure. I mean, listen, he has no offensive prowess whatsoever. His teams just seem to struggle to score. But at the same time, like I said on my podcast, you also got to look at what he was working with. His second best option was Carl Anthony Towns, who I think is a bum. It's the worst second option since Ryan Leaf
I
at number
mean,
two after Peyton
come
Manning.
on, don't do that.
I'm
Don't
sorry,
do that to that
bro.
man.
The
That's not true.
softest,
That's not true.
sassiest, definitely suspect big man I've ever seen in my life. You big for nothing piece of junk, getting down on the post and get some damn rebounds. Just, I don't know what you out there shooting fadeaway threes and stuff.
Look, I am not going to argue. I am not here to argue the zestiness of a man's character. Okay, that's not what I am here to argue. But what I will say is that whether or not, and yes, he is soft for playing 3-pointers and not playing in the paint, but he is still, as he calls himself, probably the best. No, that's not true because
That's not true.
I would consider Larry Bird to be a big man. So, but
And not just that, Joker's a better shooter right now as a big man than he is.
That's true, but when he said it at the time, Joker wasn't. So
All right,
he said it like 5 years ago, so we got to give him that.
Right.
Okay, yes, he's a little zesty, a little suspect, but I don't think he's that bad. I think he's a good second.
He doesn't block shots as a 7-footer.
Well, he didn't know until he played defense, but you got the rest of the team to play defense, right?
I feel you, but I mean, there's
Bridges and all them.
I mean, when he came out of college, he wasn't this 3-point shooter at Kentucky.
That's true.
He was a guy who could get down in the post and play. I don't know where he just decided, you know what? I think he just didn't want to get hit anymore, man. Like I said, he got sweet, he got paid, and he decided, I'm just going to live out here where it's nice and easy, and I got guards trying to cover me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to disagree and say that that's not possible. That's very, very possible, and I would not even put that past him. I could actually see that being the case, so I'm not going to disagree. But let's just say they're stuck
in the
with
regular
him.
season.
Who's going to trade for him, though? They're stuck with him for now.
Maybe. I mean, who
unless
knows
Kevin Durant gets traded to the Knicks. But talking about that, Kevin Durant is only looking at Houston or San Antonio has come out now.
I mean, I get it. Listen, the chance to play with Wemby, who's just an absolute alien over there in San Antonio. I think everyone's kind of. I mean, I've heard Giannis has considered San Antonio.
Why wouldn't you? Like you said, why wouldn't you? Right?
Why wouldn't you?
And they got De'Aaron Fox too, so it's like.
This kid weighs half as much as Karl Anthony Towns, and he spends more time on the block than Karl Anthony Towns. That's my point. 4 blocks a game is Mutombo-like. This guy plays defense while still shooting. So Karl Anthony Towns has no excuse. Wemby's a perfect example. That's who he should be. This guy's a stud, and I don't blame anyone for wanting to play with him. Now, Houston's intriguing as hell. I love Udoka. I wish he didn't get into whatever he got into with that girl in our front office. Yeah, again, I'm not going to speak on it. I don't know what happened. I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
But he's a phenomenal coach. I mean, you saw what he did. That Houston team propelled the minute he got there. All of a sudden, they're a contender when they were terrible for a long time. So he's a great coach, man, and they have a lot of good players over there. A lot of Sagan is fantastic. I hope they don't move him to try to get a Giannis or a KD because he's a centerpiece for that team. They're really good, man. They're intriguing, especially in the West that's kind of getting a little older, so.
Yeah, I like both squads for him to go to. I do agree with. I think I actually, and I said this when probably a few months ago when we were talking about it on the Bottom Line Sports about possible trade destinations. I said I thought Houston would be the best place for them to go because they need a sniper.
I was going to say a bona fide score. That's what they need. You saw the games that they lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just didn't have that closer. That's what they lacked. They lacked Mariano Rivera coming out of that bullpen in the ninth who could put the game away.
They got everything else. They got Amen Thompson. They got all these young cats on defense. Udoka is great. Again, we both loved him. I like Missoula, so I'm not upset at the change. But Udoka is great with young players. Really
at the end of the day, when you go to war, you need a killer, and that's the one thing they don't have, and that's what KD changes. They get KD, they're a contender right away.
So there you go. So KD is either going to end up with the Rockets or San Antonio. That's who he's narrowed down the 2-2 and 2 teams to. And Phoenix doesn't really have much bargaining chip at this
I also
point.
feel like guys should kind of wait on the San Antonio thing. Obviously, with Pop leaving, who's coaching that team? I need to know. Like, who's going to be the guy who takes the next generation of the Spurs into something? Because obviously, Pop was, if not the greatest coach, he's definitely in the top 3 coaches of all time.
Definitely top 3.
Yeah, for sure, hands down, if he's not the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He's got the most wins in history. I watched those San Antonio teams with Duncan, and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and all the things they did. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you saw what he did against he should have been outmatched against that Miami team when they had D Wade and LeBron and they went in there and they beat him. And they should have beat him twice if Ray Allen doesn't hit the greatest shot in NBA history. So I think the coach matters, obviously. I mean, you have to know who the coach is before you can commit fully there, because if they get the wrong guy, maybe they're not that good.
The self sabotage? Oh man, I'm why am I blanking on the word right now? The sadomasochism you're producing here with your Boston Celtics hate there with the Ray Allen. Stop bringing up that shot, the worst shot of our existence. What a freaking traitor! Screw that guy.
Yeah, listen, trust me. The
I still
minute he
didn't get
went
over
to
that.
Miami, I remember posting, I hope he trips and knocks his two freaking front teeth out, because I couldn't stand him after that. But at the end of the day, that shot was ridiculous.
Yeah.
With a man in his face, the angle, his toes barely in, and in the moment that big to just hit nothing but nylon. That's why he's one of the greatest shooters to ever live. That was crazy. And he saved LeBron James's legacy.
Oh, Jesus Shuttlesworth, baby. He got
Yes,
game.
he got game, baby.
So just to update everybody, the San Antonio Spurs did announce May 2nd that Mitch Johnson, who the deuce, Mitch Johnson is the new team's head coach.
That's temporary, I promise you. That's not, they're going to look for a name. They know they have a unicorn in this guy, Wemby. With this coach, I don't think they compete right away, and they're not going to give him much time to have a chance there, especially if they go and they get a guy like a KD or someone like that, someone who's going to demand someone who he'll respect. I don't see this nobody that no one's ever heard of. I don't even know who the heck that is. They might as well have just promoted the girl they have on the staff, because who?
Oh, Becky Hammond. Yeah, he was the one that coached.
I know her. That's my point. You knew her name. I know her too.
Yeah.
And we know I have no idea who that guy is you just named, bro.
Yeah, he was the interim coach for the end of last year, but they named him the coach going forward. And you're right, he'll probably be replaced after next year. So, which they need, unless they were to get Kevin Durant this year, I still think they will be a year away, even with De'Aaron Fox and Victor, especially because Victor has the deep vein thrombosis now as well that he has to deal with.
Listen, there's some really good coaches out there. I'm shocked Malone got fired in Denver the way he did at the end of the year there. Obviously, they've been a contender the last couple years. So he's sitting there. He's won a chip. He has the pedigree. I think he can definitely make a team better that's lacking a coach. So he's a name for sure. Mike Brown, he's had runs, obviously, like that. He had a lot of great years. He also had a lot of great teams. But I don't know how I feel about Mike Brown specifically. I wish someone could just go and get Phil back over here. I need to see Phil back.
There you go. And actually, I want to get into that in just a second. But Bobby G, thank you. Yes. Yep. Appreciate you. Mitch Johnson was Pop's #1 assistant. Yep. So he was signed on, as you say, already promoted on May 2nd. Yep. Just read that.
I'm not going to lie. Listen, sometimes these things work out. I mean, I didn't know our coach when he first came up. I was like, who is this guy? And I've respected what he's done. Obviously, he won the chip last year. If this year we got injured and we just kind of whatever, but I think he's a really great coach. I think Missoula is the perfect guy there right now. So it ended up working out. And who knows? Maybe this guy surprises me and they can be really good. But I just don't know enough about him. And as an assistant coach, especially under Pop, we know Pop had the reins in that thing. How much did he really contribute? I don't know.
Top 3 coaches of all time. I have Red Auerbach #1, Phil Jackson #2, Greg Popovich #3. Who are yours, sir?
I definitely got Red 1, obviously. We might be a little biased because we're from Boston. But at the end of the day, you can't argue rings, man. And he has a ton. I don't know if the league was as competitive then, but
I don't want to hear that.
I hear you. But so I'm going to go Red 1. And wow. I see. Phil had fantastic teams. He maybe had the 2 best players of the generation both times he coached. He had MJ and then he had Kobe. I mean, the greatest assassins to ever live.
True. Very true.
So he had a little more than Pop had. Pop was winning. Let me tell you something. We didn't know who Ginobili was. Tony Parker wasn't a star coming up. Tim Duncan obviously was a first-round pick, a #1 pick, and so was David Robinson. So he had a couple really good guys, but he also molded a lot of guys. And he was one of the main guys who started the European guys coming over here and filling in star roles. I don't think before then there were a lot of Europeans or a lot of Spaniards or anything like that were really doing what those teams. And he's still been big on it. Obviously, he brought Wemby over here from France. So, I Pop 2, then Phil 3 personally.
And that's fine. You know what? They're interchangeable to me. I would, after your argument right there, I could. I mean, they're neck and neck, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
What happens if you give? What happens if you give Pop MJ and Kobe? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
What would he have been able to do? Right. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So
Exactly. All right, cool. Well, College World Series going on right now. Coastal Carolina is undefeated in the College World Series so far, and they whooped
they won
ass
like
earlier.
25 straight games, 24
Yeah.
straight games.
Yeah, and they beat the crap out of Louisville 11-3 earlier. Arkansas is up 1-0 over LSU right now as I'm looking at it. So we are going in. This is the Final Four. The reason I mention this, though, Arkansas's Gage Wood threw the third no-hitter in men's College World Series history, striking out 19. It was an amazing performance, and obviously they are still in it going into the top of the six with LSU. How do you feel about the men's College World Series? And if you want to go to the women's, we had Texas beat Texas Tech in a wonderful women's world championship as well.
Listen, if you want to talk German physics, again, I'm not. I know about as much about that as I do about the Women's World Series. I'm not going to lie. No
That's
offense for that. I just haven't paid a lot of attention to them. As for Gage, I can't wait for the Red Sox to draft him and then trade him for nothing like they do all the time. It's going to be fantastic. That kid had a phenomenal performance, and he's on a run right now. So
You know what I love is I love when I come in and my guests, they always just give me a good segue. And so, segue to Rafael Devers getting traded. The Boston Red Sox have ruined their fans' hopes again for a third time in a row. First, Mookie Betts, then Xander Bogaerts, now Rafael Devers, the 28-year-old elite top 5 in the league hitter. How do you feel, my Boston Red Sox friend?
they have the two worst trades in baseball history. They will live in infamy for Babe Ruth, and what they did to Mookie was a calamity.
Uh,
Oh my God.
horrible, horrible, horrible. I can't. The things I want to curse about the Mookie trade is whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
Bro, I
You're
don't
the Red
understand
Sox.
our front office. They need to shoot Henry or something. I don't know what's going on. He's as bad as Jerry Jones down there in Dallas. I mean, first off, just all the moves he's made. Like you mentioned a couple of those guys. I mean, look, we trade Chris Sale to Atlanta, and he goes and wins a damn Cy Young over there.
Sure
Meanwhile, we need pitching. Mookie's obviously one of the three best players in the game. Pretty much every year, he's an MVP candidate year after year after year. He was a part of the greatest outfield we've probably ever seen. They traded him for nothing. You know what I mean? We traded Babe Ruth back in the day for nothing. And it's not just those kind of like trades and stuff. I just don't understand what we're. Now, I will say this: they have built a phenomenal farm system. I think we might have the best farm system in baseball right now. A lot of those young guys are coming up. I hope Roman Anthony really takes off. Obviously, it's still early. We're going to see, but we just keep acquiring all these prospects. But I have to assume the Devers thing, it was a toxic locker room. I have to assume all that drama that happened in the offseason. And I kind of had mentioned it in my first episode because I started right when baseball was kind of doing all their little, what's it called? When they did spring training and all that. So I was kind of talking about it. And I did worry that when he didn't want to make the move the first or when he didn't seem open to it. And now I'm hearing different reports. I'm hearing that he agreed he would play first if they left him at first. If they made the decision to put him at first, he wanted it to be permanent, and they didn't want to do that. So he kind of tried to compromise, I guess, in some. But like you said, you just can't be trading these guys. I mean, Kyle Harrison's a nice young pitcher. He's left-handed for one, and we all know how big it is to get left-handed pitching, and he's super young at 23, so he has a chance. But you traded a guy who is for a bunch of guys who could be. And Jordan Hicks, I know, throws a million miles per hour, but it doesn't matter when your ERA is over 7. Obviously, they're catching up, so he's going to have to find something else. So I don't know how I feel about the deal. We're going to have to see if Kyle Harrison can become like an ace, then maybe it was worth it. But we just keep trading guys for no return. Like, I just don't understand what's going on over there.
I feel horrible for all of you Red Sox fans.
Also getting rid of Tito after he'd won 2 World Series and broke the curse and everything. You just discard this guy like he's nothing. He did something that no other coach in our team could do for the last 87 years or whatever it was. Like, come on. One bad year, he starts to lose the locker room a little bit, and you decide to just ship him off.
It's like y'all are the winning version of the Marlins, which is just hilarious.
It used to be our farm system. Remember, they attributed a lot to our World Series. They gave us Mike Lowell, they gave us Josh Beck. I mean, those guys, we were just pulling guys from them.
So as you mentioned, I didn't realize I'm over here in the dark. I didn't to put my light on. Anyways, so was Devers, excuse me, was traded to the San Francisco Giants for Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, aforementioned, Jose Bello, and who could be the star of the trade, James Tibbs is a really good prospect. So look out for him. But again, the main point is here that the Red Sox continue to trade their stars and disappoint their fans. Yes, there was stuff in the background, as Reese has mentioned here. Once they traded for Alex Bregman and asked him to move off third base, where he had played for the franchise for the past 8 years or 7 years, whatever it was, he got upset.
Yeah,
Rightfully
but
so.
remember, in those 7 years, he made more errors than any third baseman in baseball. At the end of the day, it's what's best for the team. And you got to be a pro, man. You got to leave yourself open if you're a team guy. Like, the numbers don't lie. You made way too many errors. Alex Bregman's a guy who can really play that corner. Why wouldn't you be willing to make the move, make this team better, and give us a shot? Instead, you start the drama, and now you're shipped off for a bunch of guys who might be bagging groceries in a few months.
I mean, I agree with you. I as well think he should have obviously taken one for the team there. Alex Bregman is awesome on the hot corner. You just got to move to DH. But that isn't where it stopped. Tristan Cassis, first baseman, goes down in early May. Season-ending injury. Team, as you mentioned, asked Devers to move to first base. This is where things start to get a little hot. He has words with management. Management goes out to visit him. The owner goes out to calm the waters. Seems like everything is calm, but then all of a sudden, right after the game, he's traded. Now, no longer there. I do agree with you that he could have been better on defense. I do agree with you that he should have been more amenable to the Alex Bregman trade. I think, though, at some point, if you really value this player, you've got to make some concessions as the team and maybe asking him to go to first. And as you mentioned, I had not heard that rumor about him making that concession about being permanent. He'll stay.
Yeah, MLB Tonight reported that suppose. I mean, again, this is all hearsay. We're not there. We can't speak for sure to what was said, but there are reports coming out that he said he would play first if they left him at first, and they didn't want to do that.
You got to make concessions sometimes, and that would have been one I would have made.
Listen, he had just gotten really hot, man, and what he did against what he's always done against the Yankees, for me, matters almost more than anything else. It's what do you do against those guys, because that's the team you're competing with up there. So, I don't understand it.
You're completely right. Well, speaking of another hitter, a great hitter who's coming back from something very obviously auspicious, Tommy John surgery, to make his return to the mound, the great Shohei Ohtani has 25 home runs on the year, leading the league, but now is back on the mound, pitching one inning the other night. They are working him back. How do you feel about the greatest player in the world?
Like you said, he's the greatest player in the world, man. It's crazy. That Japanese game has really soared over the years. You know what I mean? They're really producing a lot of talent over there. What he is special. We haven't seen anything like it since Babe Ruth, obviously. I mean, he's not just good at both, he's elite at both. That's insane to me. I just hope he doesn't get hurt. I feel like it's a lot of strain. There's a reason guys haven't done this. I'm sure there have been guys that have been good enough to do it. But, I mean, having to pitch every 5 days and then hitting every single day. It's like, when are you ever taking a break on your arm? So I hope he doesn't get hurt because baseball needs him. Their numbers are up all across the board. 26% on Fox, 13% on ESPN, 19% on people are starting to tune into baseball, especially the younger demographic, 18 to 34. Those numbers have soared. But we need our stars in the game. So I hope he's smart and he takes his time coming back.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I love watching Shohei play. It's a joy. And as a baseball purist like yourself, I'm an old school fan. I love
people aren't even giving credit. He runs too. This guy can steal bags.
everything.
He's phenomenal at just about everything. I don't know. I mean, when you talk five-tool guys, this guy's the personification.
That's what I was just gonna say. He is the definition of the 5 tools. If you put that in a book, you see his face. That's
exactly his picture comes up.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's move it into the MLB power rankings for the week. At number 1 in your MLB.com power rankings are the Detroit Tigers.
I mean, they got the best pitcher in the game, man.
How do you feel about the Detroit Tigers? Go ahead.
Like I said, I had the baseball podcast coming out of spring training. They were my pick to win the AL Central this year, and I thought they have a chance to come out of the AL. They've got the best pitcher in the game, and just like goalies pitching is
Tark
what.
Skubal. Tark
Yes,
Skubal.
guy's phenomenal. I mean, he's insane. Nobody can touch him. It seems like he's got it
Triple
figured out.
Crown last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got it going like Kershaw had it going for a little while from the left side of that mound. I mean, he's fantastic. Their lineup has produced. I mean, I said at the beginning of the year, if Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, guys that we know have the ability, can turn it on because they've been kind of like whatever. Javi, especially, he like vanished for a little while there. But
Yeah.
bro, they've got a lot of guys. Riley Green can really smoke the ball. And they've got other pitchers. I thought getting Flaherty from the Dodgers was huge because obviously we know what Screwball is. But when you have two guys in a 7-game series, they're going to be really tough to beat because you're going to have to face them both 2 times and possibly one of them 3 times. So,
Yep, you're completely right about that. Yeah, Tarek Skubal is a beast. He's someone, like you said, he's untouchable. And the Detroit Tigers are leading the league with a 47-27 record. Number 2 in the league, though, my New York Metropolitans. Yes, you see it, Mr. Met on the cap. We are number 2 in your MLB power rankings. How do you feel about my Mets, even though Juan Soto has not yet hit his stride, but he is heating up now? Don't let him heat up because Lindor and Alonso are on fire right now. How do you feel about my Mets?
listen, you mentioned the most important piece. The Mets have been close for a while now. They've had really good teams on that field, and we haven't seen the best Juan Soto. This is a guy who's a phenomenal second half of the year player. He seems to heat up as it gets warm. Most of us Latin people love the warm weather, so it's no surprise. But if he turns it on and becomes the guy that we all know that he is always going to be, that team's really good, man. The question is, can they finish? It always seems at the end. That's where the Mets seem to just kind of fade at the end there. But Lindor's going great. I thought getting Alonso to come back was big. I thought you were going to lose him this year, so getting him there was huge. Obviously, he's a bomber, man. But it's a really good team, and the pitching has been fantastic, really. Or especially early on in the year, they were the best ERA the first couple months of the season. Like they were insane.
Yeah, and the crazy part is we have no namers on our staff, and we have still Manias and Montes to have to come back from injury. So we are
For sure.
looking
I mean,
good.
I thought last year one of the big problems was Diaz in the back end of the bullpen, kind of at the late in the year. Just he went from a guy who was dominant to a guy that was really giving things up. So
Mhm.
if he's great, I mean, listen, they've got a shot.
He's back to form, and we got Reed Garrett, who has a 0.94 ERA. So we got the bullpen is kicking in high gear as well. On to number 3, the Chicago Cubs with PCA, future MVP, and a bane of my existence since we traded him to the Mariners a few
I
years
was
ago.
just about to bring him up when you said the Cubs. I was waiting, but you already brought him up, so we're not even going to go there. I know it hurts.
It hurts. I talk about it every week as he's
He
becoming
came
MVP
out of
candidate.
nowhere. He's having a fantastic
And we
season.
traded him for Robinson Cano, too.
Not-
1 year of steroid Robinson Cano, by the way. I'm going to need you. Anyways, how do you feel about the Cubs this year, my friend?
I really like them, man. The Cubs always seem to put together. They've got a great GM. Obviously, you know that GM as well as I do because he was with us for a while. We love that guy over there, the Whiz kid. But they put together a great team. Brown's having a phenomenal year pitching the ball. Obviously, like we've already talked about Armstrong and what he's doing. He's come out of nowhere. And they're in a bad division. Let's be honest. There aren't any really good teams in the Central. They have a chance to really take off. I know the Brewers are decent. The Cardinals are always going to be 500. The Reds are always going to be 500. Like those teams just aren't that great. So they're definitely going to win that division. I picked them to win the division. Again, you can go to episode 1 and verify all this stuff. All the teams I picked to win the division this year are all in first place. So I'm feeling good about that. But yeah, they're a really fun team for sure.
Hey,
I just at the end of the day, let's be honest, we're all chasing the Dodgers in the NL. That team spends so much money. I know, but the Giants are the team that are interesting to watch. So we'll see if they can close the gap. But they'll be there in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. All these teams should make the playoffs. They're all pretty strong teams, so we'll see what happens. Moving on, your arch nemesis, your rival, and number 4, the evil empire, the New York Yankees. How do you feel about your rival?
How are they number 4? They haven't scored a run since Biden was in office. Like, let's come on. It's like 500 innings, and I feel like they haven't scored
That
anything.
is tremendous.
We're not even that good yet, and we swept the crap out of them just this week. So, I mean, who's putting these ratings up? It's not a top 5 team in the league right now.
This is MLB.com. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
we need to make a phone. I'm writing a letter. I'm about to Karen the shit out of their fucking email that somebody's drunk over there, man.
And then the aforementioned Dodgers. All right, number 5. Who they do have the same record as, or no, they're 3 games above the. Yeah, why are the Yankees at number 4 with a 42-30 record when the Dodgers are 45-29? Sounds like a little bit of bias going on at the MLB.com right now for the Yankees. Dodgers at number 5.
And remember, the Dodgers are in the best division in baseball. The Giants, Dodgers, they're all really good over there. Other than the Rockies, all those teams can really play. They're going to be battling out all year. But the Dodgers have like 15 Hall of Famers on that roster, man. They spend more money than Jeff Bezos over there. It's insane the kind of guys they get. It pisses me off every time they add another stud to that team.
That's hilarious. Do you watch golf, or do you like golf or anything like that?
I watched. Listen, again, golf is one of those things like some of these sports where there has to be someone that really intrigues me. Like I didn't get into UFC until Connor was there. I miss Tiger. I miss when he was doing his thing. I love what Scotty Scheffler's doing though. So he has brought me back a little bit. Yeah. He's having a run right now. I mean, I hope that he can keep that going. And yeah.
Yeah, Scotty's balling. I just asked because I have one more story before I get out here. It's a golf story. But I want to ask you about this catch of the year, potentially. Did you see this catch by Mr.
Oh, my God. And that wasn't the first great catch he made this week. This guy is putting on a clinic out there in center field. He's giving me Ken Griffey Jr. vibes. It's going to be tough to beat the catch of the year. As of right now, it's for sure it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see catches like this come along very often, as you mentioned.
Look at the height. His shoes are like at the top of those letters, man. I mean, that's not, I know it looks like a 5-foot wall because we're watching through a screen. I promise you that wall is up there.
Yeah. No, right. Yeah, that's at least a 8-foot wall, maybe?
Yeah, at least, man. Yeah.
8-foot wall. So amazing. You've got to go. I would play the video, but obviously copyright stuff, I don't know. What I can get away with. So just go check it out.
That too. I hear you.
Denzel Clark. I just take the picture now and just show Denzel Clark. Y'all go check it out. The picture does not do it justice, but at least gives you a little bit of taste of the catch of the year. No doubt about it. All right. Awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you joining me for an hour and a half. Thank you so much. Hey,
so much fun, bro. I really loved it. Yeah, we definitely got to link up though. Do this in person and stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're going to get together soon, and I'm definitely going to bring you on a bunch more. I love the way that you, your energy and the knowledge that you have about sports, so we're definitely going to get you on some roundtables here on Ball and Buds. But y'all, please make sure you tap in with my brother, the Lion, Reese Penn, at the Rec Room on YouTube. Is there anyone else they can find you, my brother?
The Line, the Animal 19 on IG, face all that other stuff, all the other social medias. I'm Line, the Animal 19, but yeah, the Rec Room 19, like you said, on YouTube is definitely where you find, or just the Rec Room, sorry, is where you'll find me. And yeah, we're growing. Like I said, we're only 5 in, so we're working it. But this was cool as hell. I like this conversation. On mine, obviously, I'm just talking to a camera, and that's been a little bit of an adjustment. I'm not used to having no reaction to anything going on, like I'm just talking to a lens. So this was actually pretty cool. So I definitely hope you'll do me the pleasure and the honor of getting me back on here eventually, because this was cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want you definitely to come on, and it's true. It really does, because when I first started doing this, I did this with my partner in crime, streaming partner, Clubber D. We started doing combat sports, and it just grew. And then I went with the Bottom Line Sports, and I was doing it with them. And then by then, now, when I did the podcast, the audio version, when it was just recorded, that I did by myself. But on video, it's a lot different. So I didn't actually start doing solo video until after, like a year and a half after I was doing other videos with other people. And it actually got me to where I could do it all by myself and just think about, I think this is what someone would react to, because I know usually this is how it's reacted to when I say it around other people. So you'll get used to it, and I'm definitely going to have you on as much as possible from now on, because I really want to support you. You're my brother, Boricua, my man. Y'all make sure, again, you tap in with the Rec Room. Please go subscribe. He's going to be back on Ball and Buds very, very often.
Yo, F Ice, by the way. Now, speaking about my Boricuas and my Latin people, you know what I'm saying?
That's funny, because I was going to bring up the Dodgers story, and I wasn't sure if I should bring it up, because I don't want to know anybody's politics. I don't care.
No, we don't need to get into all that. Yeah. But you shout out the Latin people. We're definitely proud Boricuas. You know what I'm saying? Proud Latin Americans. So,
did you hear about the Dodgers telling the singer not to sing the national anthem in Spanish?
Really? I did not hear about this.
This lady, Neza, she's apparently a popular Mexican singer. She was performing the national anthem at Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers employees urged her to only sing the song in English. She did both anyways. So shout out to her. Salute for
Yeah,
going
shout out
against
to
the
her,
man.
man. What we do for this country, what we do for this, like, it's hardworking and good people as you're gonna find anywhere. I promise you that. So I hope we can resolve all this stuff and kind of find some kind of compromise, man, because we definitely need our Latin flavor here.
And now the Hispanics are boycotting the Dodgers, so we'll see how long this lasts.
That's crazy. LA, listen, I was born in LA, so you
That's like
know
their
how
biggest
big the
fan
Latin.
base, isn't
Yeah, that's what I'm
it?
saying. So that's crazy to me. But
Word. All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much. Enjoy time with your girl tonight. We'll talk soon. Maybe we'll hang out this weekend or something.
appreciate you, my friends. Y'all be good.
Be blessed.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much to, again, the Lion, Reese Penn, my brother from the Rec Room. Y'all make sure you tap in at the Rec Room on YouTube. WRECK Room. Rec Room. Like one of those rooms you go and start destroying shit. By the way, I've always wanted to go to one of those. I got a lot of rage. My nickname growing up was Rage. So I just want to go in there and just destroy a bunch of shit because I think it would be cool. Anyways, let me finish off with one more story before we get you out of here. Actually, I do want to continue talking about that story for a quick moment, so I will after this. One more sports story. JJ Spawn, shout out for winning the U.S. Open. You see it there on the right-hand side. U.S. Open winner, JJ Spawn, apparently a Filipino. My Filipino friends hit me up after that and said they were claiming him, so I really appreciate that. But man, if you didn't see the way that he came back in the final round, my dad texted me. Good old Rube, y'all know him. He texted me during. He's like, man, this course is tearing up these golfers. These professional golfers could not handle the combination of Oakmont just being a tough course plus the rain. It was horrible conditions. And even Scotty Scheffler, as my boy Reese mentioned, he was 8 over. Even the best golfer in the world was being humbled by this course. Even our boy Spawn was humbled to the point where in the front 9, he almost took himself out of contention because he began the day at 3 under and finished at 1 under throughout that. So he was up and down throughout the first 9. He looked like he was headed for just despair. And all of a sudden on the back 9, he turned it on. He had a 32 on the back 9. For those of you that play golf, a normal, and I don't know what Oakmont is, so please don't ask me. I guess I should have researched that. But a usual par, 18 par on a golf course, right, is going to be 72. So half of that is 36. So he shot at 32, which is a 4 under on the back 9. And then at the end, he sunk a 64-foot putt. You got to go watch the video, just like the video of Denzel Clark on the A's making that catch. You got to go watch this video. In the rain, sinks a 64-foot putt. His family, his daughters, his wife go crazy. It's such a beautiful scene. Shout out to JJ Spawn, 34-year-old PGA Tour journeyman, getting the U.S. Open win. All right. Couple more notes here on the entertainment. I do want to go back to what we talked about. The singer being rejected by the Dodgers. Now, look here, y'all. We are having a lot of issues in this country right now, as we know, with ICE raids and mass deportation and immigrants, whether illegally or even sometimes legally, and U.S. citizens at points being detained and sometimes deported. We are going through a national crisis right now, no matter which side of the aisle or which side of the issue you stand on. But one thing that needs to be said is that this country, as I mentioned on Monday, this country's economy, as I mentioned earlier, with Juneteenth and how this country was built off the backs of African Americans, our economy now is heavily indebted to immigrants. And especially those of the Latin and Hispanic population who work in our farms and work in our restaurants and work in our hotels and work as maids and so on and so forth. And when we are taking that, not only are we hurting our economy, which I'll put out a short on tomorrow. I have a short coming out on how the deportation is going to hurt the economy. Even during those times, innocent people are being detained and innocent people are being hurt, even to the point where the Dodgers tried to constrict Neza from singing in English and Spanish. And I'm sorry, y'all. Look, We are to the point where this country, no matter, unless you're a racist and you want it to be a white segregationist country, you want white nationalism, which if you do, I highly suggest you subscribe right the fuck now from this channel, because I do not want you watching my content. But also, this is a multicultural society. And unless there's some sort of genocide, that's not going to change, and it's only going to progressively get more multicultural. That being said, Hispanics and the Spanish-speaking language are huge in this country. It's the second most used language in this country. And the Dodgers, as we mentioned, their fan base, I don't know the exact, and I'm going to, you know what, let me write this down. I want to get the exact proportion of fans for the Dodgers, because I bet if I looked at the percentages, not the percentage of fans, just fans, but the proportion of those percentages, I guarantee you the proportion. I can't guarantee, but I would venture to guess the majority proportion, not percentage, but proportion of the percentage would be Latino, and then even possibly black, and then even white. So, because you're looking at proportion versus percentage. Percentage takes the whole. But remember, there's a lot more Caucasian people here than there are Hispanics or African Americans. So I'm actually going to look into that. Anyways, I think that's sad. I don't think you should do that. Obviously, a lot of your fans being Latino. Again, Spanish being the second major language in this country, I think at this point we're comfortable enough that if you're going to sing the national anthem in English, that you should be able to sing it in Spanish as well in this country. Now, that takes us to a whole nother point, which if you watch My Mind to the Professor, have watched this show for a long time, I don't think that, and I'm a veteran, I don't believe the national anthem should ever be sung at any events. That was done back in the day at World War I, World War II for nationalistic pride. We don't need that anymore. Our military is just like we don't need a military parade. Our military is the most powerful in the world. We don't need all those shenanigans. We are the best. We need to act as if we are the best. So we don't need to circumvent ourselves or degrade our society and bring other people down and make them feel worse because we don't want to let them hear the national anthem in their language when a lot of those people are veterans. One of my boys, veteran from the military, I served with him. He's a Dodgers fan, and now he's a pissed Latino Dodgers fan who's boycotting online. So we'll keep you updated and see how that goes, but that's definitely not a good look. Shout out to Bobby G. Thank you for tuning in. I missed this earlier. I apologize if you're still watching. I appreciate it. But this is his top 3 NBA coaches, and I'll edit this into our top 3 earlier. But Bobby G's top 3 coaches: Pops, Spo, and Daly. All right, Chuck Daly coming in. I could not put I couldn't put Spo or Daly above. Even if you take Arbach out, just because I'm a Boston fan, even if you did that, I would still put Phil Jackson and probably Pat Riley over Spo and Daly. I would actually probably even, there's probably other coaches as well that I could think of going down the line: Rick Carlisle, Lenny Wilkins, others like that. But anyways, Spo's definitely up there. He's getting up there too. He's definitely going to be a legend when it's done. And Chuck Daly, oh yeah, definitely. May he rest in peace. Thank you. Shout out to Bobby G. Y'all make sure you tap in with the Audible podcast, as well as Wildcard Mar, Late Night Owl, IOW Sports, my boy Detroit Mel, the rest of the crew, MJ Jersey Boy Nick, the rest of the crew there. Let's Talk Sports. Y'all shout out to Let's Talk Sports as well. Everybody there, the whole crew there. Next week, huge week for Ball and Buds, y'all. Huge week. Let me make those announcements right now. It's going to be a week full of shows. 4 shows next week. Monday, you will have myself, the Professor's Semanalmente Sports and Entertainment Edition. Yes, I'm moving sports to Monday next week because we are going to have sports all the rest of the week. Tuesday, huge NBA stream featuring the aforementioned Bobby G from the Audible podcast, as well as Man Down Sports. Mel, my brother, will be blessing the stream, as well as my other brother, Jay from Unfair Sports, will be blessing the stream. We will have an NBA season review roundtable, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So, Wednesday, I'm actually going to take that day off since we have a couple more streams coming up. I'm going to go out and hang out and go to a show that I want to see. And then Thursday, I'm gonna try to get this together. I'm hoping that I'll be able to together. I'm gonna try to arrange it tonight. But the boxing Voltron Transformers crew will be back to do some boxing predictions for the weekend. I'm hoping that'll be Thursday, 8:30 Eastern. Hopefully, if we can get it together, it will obviously be my brother Clubber D, the Combat G, with me, as well as our brothers Skywalker Boxing Media, 86 Boxing, and Papi Junio. So hopefully catch us Thursday. And then Saturday, if we can make that Thursday one work, then Saturday, Clubber D and I will do the Clubber D's Combat G's Combat Sports Special for UFC 317. So then you would get your boxing on Thursday, your UFC on Saturday. So that will probably be 4 Eastern is usually when we do it on Saturdays. But anyways, as long as you're subscribed to Ball and Buds on YouTube, BALLAND BUDS, you will be able to see all the live video schedule there as well. If you want, go ahead and hit up that Linktree QR code. If you scan that, that will take you to all of our social media. You can also find our Instagram, which you can follow us there and get updates as well. You can go to the audio podcast version. You can find our Twitter. You can find Clubber D's YouTube as well as his TikTok. So please hit up that QR code at the Linktree. And yes, 4 huge shows hopefully next week. If we don't get the boxing show in, which is okay if we don't, then we may do the UFC on Thursday instead of Saturday. So we'll see. But either way, definitely 3 shows next week. Possibly 4 shows, possibly 5. I may decide to do a news next Friday, so we'll see. Maybe 5 shows next week for Ball and Buds. Either way, huge week for Ball and Buds. We are blowing up. We've got 70 new subscribers in the past week. Please, please, please subscribe to Ball and Buds on YouTube. I thank you for all of your support as well. Make sure you hit that like, laugh, heart button, whether you're on the live or the replay. It is invaluable to you. I mean, it is free to you, but invaluable to us. Y'all, love y'all. Be safe out there. Have an amazing Thursday. I'm going to go volunteer tomorrow, go help out the homeless. I just, help out when you can out there. Do volunteer work, support the causes you love. But have an amazing Thursday. We will see you next week, Monday. Maybe you'll see me go live on IG if I get to bare knuckle boxing on Saturday this weekend, but I don't know if I'm going to make it. We'll see. But anyways, again, make sure y'all go out, be blessed, be kind, help other people, and have an amazing week. Holla. 5,000.
He's with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat close. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back, in fact this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan and you have no need to know.